Hey guys, I've got a bunch of affordable vanilla perfumes here. I decided I wanted to try a few more of the kind of cheapy vanillas because my enjoyment of vanilla has kind of gone from when I first started this channel feeling like I just didn't like vanilla in perfumes, let alone actual vanilla perfumes, to really realizing that there are some styles of vanilla that I really, really like. Specifically for me, I think what I've worked out is that I like vanillas that aren't particularly fruity or aren't always floral. I quite like a woody vanilla or a green vanilla, um, or like a spicy vanilla. But there's so many expensive vanilla perfumes. I just thought it would be really fun to have a look through at some of the things that just aren't supposed to be very spicy. So if we have a look at these, I will start with the one that looks like a deodorant. I'll be back. So this metal bottle is a very, very affordable, I mean, let's be real, it's actually a cheap perfume, by Tesori to Orient, and it's called Hammam. So I was interested in trying this particular guy out because this is compared to a perfume that I have, which is a kind of floral vanilla, and I thought it would be interesting to see how this one compares. Now, having just said I don't really necessarily like floral vanillas, um, for some reason this one is a different story, but I have to be in the mood for it. So this little guy has notes of mandarin orange, lemon and almond blossom, mid notes of orange blossom and jasmine, base notes of vanilla, amber and woodsy notes. Now, this is compared with, and to be honest, genuinely does smell a bit like, YSL CInema. Now, CInema, obviously, it's a Yves Saint Laurent perfume. It is a much more expensive perfume. It's not identical. It's definitely not exactly the same, but it has the same scent profile as CInema. So Hammam, I would say, smells like a kind of a slightly brighter, so slightly more citrusy and slightly soapy version of CInema. CInema is almond blossom again and vanilla, and it's more vanillic, I think, than Hammam. Yeah, it's definitely a bit sweeter and a bit more obviously vanillic. But in terms of the general profile, if you're on like a tight budget, this has really got the same kind of feel. Yeah, it's like a citrusy and slightly cleaner, fresher version of CInema. It's like CInema summer. Like, I think you'd be able to describe it like that. It smells like it could be part of the CInema family. And considering this was like less than £10, I think, it's really quite good value. Like, it doesn't smell like a cheap perfume, even though it technically is a pretty cheap perfume. And let's see, how big, let's just see. How much is in this one? Oh, it's 100 ml. So it's 100 ml. It's not like hugely strong, but it's so cheap you could massively overspray this and that would be fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm really impressed. I think it's a really impressive perfume for the price. Like, I'm really... Because I like CInema and I managed to get a bottle on eBay, but it was still like relatively expensive compared to what I normally use and what I normally wear. So I'm really happy to be able to give you like a more affordable alternative. If what you like about CInema is the more kind of creamy vanillic side of it, then another thing that has like a similar profile but with added like honey and caramel is Jimmy Choo's Illicit. It's got quite a similar kind of vibe, that one. But this more feels more obviously a bit like CInema. Yeah, a clean and citrusy version of CInema. Yeah, really quite impressed with it. I quite like this. This is one that I might actually just take with me to work and just leave at work, or maybe leave at my mum and dad's or something, so I have like a really nice perfume to wear when I'm there. that's not like too offensive. Really, really pretty. I think that's a really good one. Definitely recommend that one. All right, what have we got next? Oh yeah, okay. So this has been on my list to try for a really long time. It's super cheap. I genuinely think the Rive Vanilla Touch. I think this little bottle, which I think is a 30 ml. Yeah, 30 ml. I think this cost me about £3.50, which is mad. Again, you can get like the full size bottle, which is I think maybe 100 ml. I think you can get that for like under a tenner as well. So incredibly affordable. And I mean, you know, it looks like a cheap perfume. It's in a cheap little bottle, but I like Le Rive generally. They're probably in terms of like non kind of indie dupe houses. I think Le Rive is by far my favourite. So this is a Vanilla Touch. And I think this is a really good, like, basic vanilla, if you see what I mean. I don't mean basic as in like, oh, it's basic bitch vanilla. I mean it's like, it smells just like a classic easy reach vanilla perfume without too much going on, even though the notes would suggest there's lots going on. So this lists jasmine, gardenia, peach, red apple and bamboo just in the top. Then it says jasmine, rose and freesia in the mid. Base notes of vanilla, coconut, amber, musk, sandalwood and orchid. But it reminds me a little bit of the Body Shop vanilla, and it reminds me a little bit of the H&M vanilla, but without the medicinal tone that I got from the H&M one. The H&M one definitely had a little bit of an antiseptic smell to me, which I think is an aroma chemical. This perfume, I feel like this has been around for so long that it's before that particular aroma chemical that bothers me, like, was used in perfumes. I think you could use this on its own and smell just quite vanillic. I don't think that this smells massively floral. It doesn't smell particularly fruity. I feel like maybe you can get a bit of a vibe for the coconut but it doesn't actually smell coconutty. I think maybe it's adding more to a bit of a texture. Yeah, if you just told me that this was vanilla, musk and sandalwood, I would probably just be like, yeah. It's also compared to Vanilla Fields by Coty, and I really don't like Vanilla Fields. I find that Vanilla Fields actually is super floral, and that one doesn't work for me because of that. And this does have a little bit of a crossover, maybe more with Vanilla Musk from Coty, but Vanilla Musk to me still smells really quite fruity. It smells like there's peach in that one, and I that's one of the things that puts me off of perfumes with vanilla in, if they're like super peachy or, like I said, like super floral. This one I think is pretty good. I think this is probably one I will keep, and I'm going to try wearing it on its own and just see how I feel about it, because I don't really have a vanilla perfume that is just vanilla, so this will be an interesting one. But yeah, I think this is an incredibly good value perfume. I reckon this is really popular. It does sell out quite a lot, so yeah, I can see why people like this one. That's another absolute recommendation. Excellent perfume. I'm putting it back in the box. Now this one is new. Like, it's quite a new release, and it's also it's one I've had for a little while, and I've been trying to work out how I feel about this. This is a Coty perfume called Chanson de Eau Vanilla Le Eau de Monde Polynesia. So Chanson de Eau used to be, and sort of I guess still is, like, it's like a good, nice, cheapy brand. I've got a couple of the Chansons. I've got the green bottle, the original, and the blue bottle. They're both amazing, great, lovely summer perfumes. They kind of feel like spraying on a body spray, but they are a little bit longer lasting. They've gone through a little upgrade in terms of how these things look. They've still got the old Chansons, I think, but they've definitely changed for this new range. I didn't get the rest of the range because I wasn't particularly interested in the notes, but I thought it would be fun to try out this guy. And I think I got this one on sale for about £15, but they're normally around 20. This is a 100ml bottle for an eau de toilette, and quite a smart bottle, I think. I think it's a real wooden, let me just see. It feels like real wood. It's either real wood or a very good fake wood for the lid. So I just thought this one seemed like it might be interesting. And I took a risk because this has green apple in it, which isn't one of my favourite notes. I sometimes get a bit of a candle vibe from perfumes with green apple in. But I really wanted to try this because the top notes here are pear blossom, apple and iris. The middle notes are cotton candy, water lily and jasmine. And the base notes are vanilla, amber and musk. So I was like, I'm going to have to see what this one's like. So this is quite different from all the other ones here. Oh yes, that is very different. When you first spray this, it's super fruity. It's juicy, it's sweet, it's sugary. You can get flowers. It definitely does have a little bit of a vibe of something that you'd get in a lovely candle. Like, there's no denying. I mean, if you don't have an issue with green apple perfumes, then you might not think of this in the same way that I do. But for me, I'm getting that kind of, oh, that's a lovely candle kind of smell. It doesn't have the texture of a candle, though. But I can really smell the cotton candy in this. And it's like, it's got that, it's not got the burnt vibe that you get with some cotton candies, but it's got the tangy vibe that you get with some cotton candies, or with most cotton candies. There's like a kind of tanginess to them. And then it has I'm just trying to think if there's anything I compare it to. It's quite an unusual vanilla perfume, this one. And I have a feeling that it would be very popular with people who like, not because it smells anything like this, but people who like things like pink sugar, and, you know, and things like Juicy Couture, those kind of perfumes with those kind of vanillas. But this one's brighter, fresher, fruitier, and then it has that interesting kind of twist because it has the cotton candy sweetness mixed in with the vanilla. But there's definitely a lot of green apple in this. It is intriguing. It doesn't smell like anything I've really smelt before. And it does have a tropical vanilla feel to it. I mean, I wonder if actually out of these it's almost the least vanillic because, or maybe I'm just thinking that because it's not like a creamy vanilla. It's a fresh, sweet vanilla. I would love how this smells on other people, but I don't think this is one that I would be able to wear myself. I think that there's too much of the fruity floral going on with the sweet notes here and the vanilla, and I think that is going to make it not my style of perfume. But I would definitely recommend this to anyone who looks at those notes and goes, I love green apple, cotton candy and vanilla. If you love those things, I think it's not massively water lily or jasmine here. I think the pear blossom is what's coming through most, and probably more so than the iris. So I feel like this is a lovely pear blossomy, which is adding to the slight fruity vibe as well. A really juicy green apple, a very sweet, slightly tangy cotton candy, and then a vanilla. Yeah, it definitely smells super tropical. So yeah, I mean, again, I would definitely recommend it. I think it's a really good one. It's not necessarily for me, but I think it's really pretty. I should just say as well about this guy, this has been compared by, I mean, it's 7 people, but no one's disagreed yet, with a perfume that I've never smelt, so I can't comment, which is Cologne of the Missions Le Couvent Maison. I'll just put it up here so you can see, with this guy. So I don't know if they smell the same. I mean, it wouldn't really match with those main accords. I feel like maybe you could say this is vanilla and sweet. It's not massively powdery to me. Maybe there's a bit of amber, but I wouldn't put warm, spicy or balsamic, so I'm not sure. But, well, maybe it is a bit balsamic. But yeah, so just in case because I think that's been discontinued, that one. So I've never smelt it, but it has been compared by others. Next on the agenda, This one's been around for a little while. Again, it's been on my list because I've got a few of these perfumes. So this is Vanilla Darling from Ulric de Varens from the Flirt range. This is one of... I've got the Mojito Love. I've got Sexy Musk. Although that one's on its way out, to be fair. And I did have one called Exotic something, I think, which was like, it smelled like a kind of tropical Escada perfume, you know. So I've had a few of these, and I really thought I might as well try Vanilla Darling, see how this one is. So let's take this one out. It's got... I really hate the packaging of these, though, because they come in these completely unnecessary plastic trays, which I don't approve of. So this is the little bottle. Super cute, tiny. These, I think these are about £6 and for a 30ml. So again, like extremely affordable. Okay. Oh, that was a big spray. Good sprayer. It's all over my fingers though. So let's have a little sniff of Vanilla Darling. Very alcoholic at first, but it's, you know, a very cheap perfume, so that's fair enough. Okay. You've got a vanilla that's a little bit like the one in Rive Vanilla Touch, that kind of vanilla. It's a little bit more floral smelling though. And maybe in something in here that's a bit slightly green, but not properly green, if you see what I mean. Just a fresh green leaves with the florals maybe. It's very light, this one. I have tried this on my skin and it was very light on my skin as well. So this is very, 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 very light. The notes listed for this are just vanilla in the top, jasmine and rose in the mid, and base notes of amber. So this is slightly reminiscent of the next one I'm going to talk about. So I feel like it's somewhere between the next guy I'm going to talk about and the Vanilla Touch. It's quite a nice one, to be fair. It's not bad at all. So some people have compared this to Kayali. Is that Vanilla 28? I don't think so. I find Vanilla 28 to dry down to have quite a vintage smell to it and smell a little bit. I can get the kind of... I think it's amber and patchouli, you know, all those classic vanillic notes, those classic vintage notes, I should say. And I just don't like how that dries down. I think it smells odd. I think it starts off smelling really nice. So yeah, maybe this smells a little bit more like that one does when it opens without the dry down that I don't like. So I will definitely try wearing this one, like full wear. But it's not very strong. It's also compared to, by just a couple of people, Vanilla Woods. I think that's the 7 Virtues. I've not smelt that one. But, I mean, if Vanilla Wood smells like this and it's pretty pleasant, it's very, very light. That's all I can say, really, about this. Compared to smelling the strips of everything else, I feel like I'm really trying hard to smell this one. Now, that might be because it's super light, or it's also possible that this has some of the sweet and vanillic aroma chemicals in that they use in perfumes like D&G Devotion or Acro's Bake. And I can't smell much in the way of vanilla in those perfumes. So if it's an aroma chemical, I might just not be able to smell it, if you see what I mean. But yeah, I mean, this is very, very, very light. It's the lightest by far out of all of these. So it's not that I don't recommend it, but I would recommend all the others before I recommended this one, if you see what I mean. So that's Vanilla Darling by Ulric de Varens. Next up, this, guys, is a good one. This is Vanilla Blossom from Monotheme. I haven't had success, generally speaking, with Monothemes. Everything that I've bought from them, I've ended up just getting rid of or wanting to get rid of. The only one that I had in my collection for a while was the Cherry Blossom one, because I do think that's super pretty. I just never reached for it, and it's quite a big bottle. It's quite a big bottle, so I just thought it's time to declutter that one if I'm not wearing it. But it is a really nice perfume. This one, though, this is an excellent alternative to a much more expensive perfume. So I'd had this again on my list for ages, wanted to try it, but I've been slowly collecting all of these vanillas, you know. Let's spray it out and then I'll put it on the thing. Okay, there you go. So Vanilla Blossom by Monotheme. This reminds me of a couple of things. There's quite a lot of alcohol when you first spray it, definitely, no denying. But this has a feel of some green, leafy, floral vanillas that are much more expensive. So things that I've smelt, so for instance, the Chloe, I think it's called Vanilla Plantifolia. It has a little bit of a feel of something like that, for sure. But it also has a little bit of a vibe of Orchid Vanille from Van Cleef & Arpels. So I was thinking about that. So I went and I got a little spray on the card. I went and smelt it. And yes, definitely this one has a feel of the way that Orchid Vanille smells. I don't think it's quite as vanillic, but it is the same kind of profile as that much more expensive perfume. Now, Monotheme perfumes, if you get them in the UK in Marks and Spencer's, so you can actually go and test these if you've got a Marks's, they're about 25 quid for the normal range, but you can get these online for like £15 normally. I think this one was even less than that. I think this might have cost me about £10. You definitely get flowers here for sure. You can get that orchid. You do get some fruity notes in the opening, but I don't think they really last. I feel like there's more going on here than just what the notes say, which is vanille, orchid, woodsy notes and fruity notes. Yeah, I definitely feel like this smells a little bit like Orchid Vanille. Almost like Orchid Vanille with a splash of the Chloe Vanille Plantifolia, but without loads of like aroma chemicals. It has a bright, fresh, slightly, it's not exactly green, but it has like a fresh floral smell to it. I don't want to say salty, but it almost has something in it that's making me think there's a slight saltiness. Like if you were like wearing Orchid Vanille next to a kind of a sea breeze. I don't know. But yeah, I feel like, because I'm not mad for Orchid Vanille, it's not really my favourite perfume, but I do think it's a beautiful one. And I really think that this could be a really nice perfume. If you like fresh florals and you like vanilla, and you don't want anything too heavy, this is such a good option. Like genuinely, I feel like I said, like Vanilla Darling smells almost like a mixture between this one and the Rive Vanilla Touch. It's got like something in between all of those. But yeah, I would say this is an excellent one if you like those kind of perfumes, if you like the kind of Vanille Plantifolia, Orchid Vanille, you know, the kind of floral, fresh, maybe slightly green, but not necessarily like aromatically green, if you see what I mean, like green in a fresh field kind of way rather than like a herbal way. But yeah, I mean, genuinely quite an impressive perfume. It's not one that's really for me, but I do think it's pretty cool. Okay, so last but not least, we have another Ulric de Varens, and this is from the sweet range. So this has seen better days, bless it. This is Vanille Caramel, 50ml. I think this one was about £7 as well. All right, I've already got a little sprayer in here. I do think these bottles are kind of cute. Let me just spray this out so I can remind myself. I mean, there's no argument. This is vanilla caramel. It definitely is. This is gourmand. There is something in here that I think is slightly soapy. So I feel like the musk in here might be a bit soapy, but not in a way that overwhelms at all the actual caramel and vanilla. So the notes listed here are syrup, vanilla and sugar in the top, mid notes of toffee, coconut, brown sugar, base notes, vanilla, musk and tonka. Maybe the coconut and the musk is what's giving it an ever so slightly soapy feel, because I feel like what I think is a bit soapy in here is kind of reminding me of Le Monde Gourmand, their coconut perfume that I tried, which I thought smelled really soapy and I didn't like. It's almost like if you just got a tiny pinch of that in a caramel vanilla perfume. The more this dries down, the more it gets a little bit soapy and it moves away from what it is in the opening, which is 100% gourmand. But if you like a vanilla caramel kind of smell, then this is going to be pretty good for you, to be fair. It almost smells like it could be a shower gel or something, if you see what I mean, like a very gourmand shower gel. It's not quite sticky dates because it's not dark and deep enough for that, and it's not Escapade Gourmand, because that one, I think, although that definitely to me smells like caramel, I think that's extremely gourmand. I don't know that it's got like a soapy quality like this, but this has been compared to, let's have a look, I don't know that one. There's one, Zara Creme Brulee from the Gourmand collection, apparently. People have said it smells like that, but yeah, I mean, it smells exactly like you'd expect from the notes, to be honest. Like I said, I feel like the coconut and the musk are giving this a slightly soapy feel, but everything else about it is caramel, toffee, vanilla, sugar. I feel like this one is going to be too sickly for me personally, so it's probably not one that I'll keep. But then that's just because these aren't necessarily my favourite style of perfumes, you know? So if you like these kind of caramel, vanilla, sweet perfumes, then you're probably going to really enjoy this one. I mean, I don't think it smells like massively cheap, but it also doesn't smell expensive. It just smells like a regular perfume, you know? Yeah, I mean, again, like, I feel like there's none of these that I think are actually bad. I've been, like, quite impressed with these cheapies. I think maybe Vanilla Darling is the one that I find the hardest to smell, so that's the only one that that I'd be a bit, you know, I wouldn't necessarily want to advise. But yeah, I mean, this has been really fun smelling these, and I've got a couple that are going to stay with me. I've got a couple that I'm going to test out, and I've got a couple I'm going to pass on. So I hope this has been helpful, and I hope you guys will comment down below if you've got any good suggestions for cheapies, for vanilla cheapies, and let me know if you've smelt any of these, if you have any of them, what you think, and if you know what these smell like, if you know that they're like good dupes for anything, please put it down below so that everyone can see it. Thanks very much, guys. Please do subscribe if you like my videos, and to everyone who's already subscribed, you're amazing. Thank you so much. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.